Hi there everyone, welcome to another advent calendar of Squeezeboxes. I've got something different again for you this time. It's a very special instrument, but not one I'm associated with being able to play particularly. So I'll, with no further ado, I'll get it out and we'll see what happens. Okay, I'm going to stand back a bit because it's long, this one. You won't be able to see it all otherwise. What a beauty, eh? It's a Continental Chromatic system instrument, and this is a B system. The B and C systems are basically follow the same logic, but the notes go in a different direction of diagonals. So in the B system, the notes go diagonally that direction between each tone, and that direction between each semitone. So tones and then semitones. As you can see, I'm not an expert, but what I can say is that having that system means that you have a very, very sensible way of making music in two dimensions, basically. The grid here allows me to be able to play in the same fingering and change key to lots of different other ones, which is absolutely lovely. And I know people say to me on my melodeon systems, why on earth do you play, you know, complicated melodeons with extra row with all kind of notes in what appears to be a random order? And I always say, well, it's a bit more, I think it's more sensible than the layout of a piano keyboard where every single key is a different fingering. Now this is sort of the opposite of that. On the left hand, it's still a Stradella bass. We'll have a look at the inside of this instrument though, because the main reason I bought it and own it is because it's absolutely lovely. It's made by a company called Hercule in Switzerland. Neuchatel, I think, is the name of the town they built out of. And quite simply, it's very early, so it's probably 1930s, possibly 1920s. And the way it's constructed, you can certainly feel in the weight of it. It's a lot heavier than I would expect a modern instrument of this size to be. And it, yeah, looking inside it and at all the bits of it is going to be what's most impressive. You can see the lovely inlay of woods and mother of pearl. The buttons are mother of pearl, and I may have mentioned before, the B system, it's quite normal to have black and white notes. These ones actually have just a little dot, a black dot on the ones which would be a black note on a piano key. But yeah, let's get inside and see how this is built, because I think it's one of the most brilliantly built instruments I've ever taken to bits. And in fact, I don't even need a toolkit to do it. What I hadn't mentioned earlier, of course, is that this has been lovely restoration job done to it. Apart from the fact that it's been kept in old pitch. So we've kept it like that because it does sound great for a box of its age. I think one day it might be nice to bring it up to A440 so it can play with people again. But at the moment it's only really in tune with itself and plays about A432. Now, what I'd like to show you is how brilliantly this has been designed. I'm going to now get into the reed blocks with no tools whatsoever. Is a little doorknob, which if I twist, the grill comes away. You see, it's just a little piece of metal, goes into a slot at the side of the casing here. Absolutely beautiful. I'm a sucker for things that are made to be taken apart. And then we've seen in with the old Caliwat instrument, one where the whole soundboard comes out, and this is the same. But it comes out with just these two little switches, which again go into indentations in the wood, but these have been reinforced with metal. I think a hand cut piece of metal with little screws in. And here we go. I'm inside and I haven't used a screwdriver. There's this little bit came off as well, which is just on the back of this soundboard assembly. This just fits this way around in here, and it actually comes off until it's in place, and then it's held firm by the frame. It's just a nice little piece to see these two mechanisms here. I'll show you about those in a minute. So let's look at the right hand side. Here we have the reed blocks. So yeah, let's look at that mechanism first then. So I'll zoom in. I shall zoom in onto this bit here. So we have a little lever here which goes to this fork on the other side, and that's another bellows lock that locks the bellows together. And this one here, this slider, which is been extended, so this is the lever here, but then it's on this lovely slider where you can extend it. Ooh, it's got stuck. Well, we'll get that moving again. So that takes in the low reeds. So it's a 3-voice instrument, and you can see with all these lovely reed blocks, again, you don't need a screwdriver to get into them. They've just got a little twist here, and it opens up this groove whereby you can just pull the reed block out. I'll only take this one out, but look at these, and look at the state, the way they've been either maintained or completely cleaned up and made to look like new. These are really old reeds. It's 1930s. It doesn't have the zinc type corrosion on the plate, so either they've been electrolytically cleaned or they're aluminium, but it's unusual to find aluminium plates on an instrument of this age. And they've got the circles on them, which again makes me think zinc and Dix reeds. Yeah, lovely new leathers have been put on. Those definitely haven't got much age on them. The other thing you'll notice with this, actually, is there's no reed wax. So, even without anything, I could probably get one of these reeds off, because they are just held in place. I will need pliers for this. There's a little twisty bit of metal there. If I just turn that, that reed should come away. Yeah. So I can take the whole reed plate off without any wax mess. One of my favourite ways of attaching the reeds, and as you can see, the way they've been held in at the top of the reed, see a little diagonal wedge in there, and the reeds have been filed and shaped to have that same profile at the top, and so once they're in that side they can't come out, and all you need to do is twist that metal over the top again and it'll be back in. Beautiful engineering, absolutely beautiful. And so that makes repair on this so much an easier job. I'll put this back in and just turn the screw, turn it the other way, and we're in again. Oh, I'll have a look inside here as well. There's a metal action, a lot thinner than on my Salterelle, but still really quite quiet and nice, very small actually for a Continental Chromatic. Small little buttons, and you can see the ones that have got a little black dot on, they're the black notes. So here's the rest of the instrument. Again, on the left hand, nothing is waxed in. Now, getting these bass reed blocks out is slightly problematic. First of all, you'd have to take this bellows lock off. So, do you remember the little claw? That just feeds onto this, and this rod's got a hook on it there, and that goes into a hook on the bass reed block itself, and it prevents the bellows from opening. And so you open it like that, you can move the bellows again, which means when we put it back together again, we've got to make sure that that goes in between the jaws of the little piece. They did make melodeons as well. Let's make sure that part is where I said it was. So we're locked at the moment, which means we're in that position. Yeah, we're in. And don't forget to put this little piece of wood on the back. So again, to close up, simply flip the two little switches there, holds it in place, put the grill on, and turn the little doorknob, and we're all back together again. As I said, they did make melodeons in this same sort of design as far as I can tell from pictures, but I've never managed to buy one, and I do think I'd like to see it. Downside to this construction, Well, because you've got two cases essentially, one inside the other, it's really heavy. And working on the bass reed blocks requires you to take that mechanism out and then remove the reed blocks. But I think I prefer it to the sort of normal style of Squeezebox construction today. I just think it's more elegant. Okay, let's get and try and play a tune on a Continental Chromatic. That should be fun. So here's the scary bit. I'm going to be attempting to make some noises on an instrument with this many buttons, all in a different order. I'll start with the left hand because I play Stradella bass on some of my instruments, so I'm a bit more familiar with that side. The Stradella basses tend to go in diagonal pairs like this, so diagonal rows of notes that are all pertaining to chords in the same key. So this is a full one, left hand. So the second row in from the bellows is the main bass buttons, and it goes in fifths. Up the instrument and down in fourths, obviously, and then the middle row, the centre row here next to the bellows, is another row of basses, but that is a major third above the main row, and that allows you to play much better bass runs because the third would be, it's quite a jump to the third if you just went along one row of basses. After you've got the counter basses and the basses, you have a major chord, a minor chord, a seventh chord, and a diminished chord. Now, what's unusual about this, it's an old instrument, and those seventh and diminished chords actually have 4 notes in them, because they are technically 4-note chords, but all modern accordions only play 3 of the notes. They leave the 5th out of the 7th, and I can't remember what they leave out of the diminished one, but this is from before that. Some chord mixing things that people do might not work on this one. Anyway, that's the left hand, and as I say, they've sort of filled it in to make it have this square shape, but it's just that there are some basses without chords down there, but they're also repeated here. Yeah, so that's this side, and I'm going to attempt to play something for you on this B system right hand side. Please bear with me. I'm going to... Well, nearly got away with that. It's yeah, the lovely Hercule B system chromatic accordion, made in Switzerland. Amazing piece of kit. Right, I'll see you in the next one of these. Bye.